Why are sales opportunities so small and they take too long in Canada? Right? Click here the subscribe button, set up the alert. If the content of this video is useful for you, let us know by clicking the like button. We may be looking here at a classical situation, right? Just to start the conversation. Like, it's very simple what's happening, right? We have a situation where one side is very eager to do the business and the other side is very cautious to start. There's difference in the sense of urgency, but let's dig deeper here and understand what actually happens and then make the suggestions here, what a few things that may work for you so you can get bigger clients and things may move more quickly in your next sales. What typically happens is that you have asymmetric information. What do I mean by that? You know who you are, your competencies, what you have done, but they don't. Your client, the prospect you're talking to, they still don't know who you are. And the fact that you're showing them a bunch of stuff and nice presentation and all that, I guess their reaction may be, oh yeah, okay, they seem to know what they're doing. Yeah, I think it's okay. And then they ask you that dreaded question, which is, okay, which clients like me here in my geography have you already sold to? I say, oh no, I don't have any clients like you here, but I have these other very large clients in this other place, or I have these other types of clients, and they feel hesitant because, well, I see what you're saying, but I don't really know yet, right? There is an uneven, again, an asymmetric understanding of the context. You know what you have done, what you had to go through to build the solutions that you delivered to your clients in your country of origin or in other regions here in Canada or to other types of clients. But they do not know, right? The knowledge that you bring to the table in a negotiation when you're trying to convince somebody to buy from you, you have 100% of the knowledge. They're only seeing what you're telling them and maybe what they heard about you in the market. And if you're relatively new, relatively unknown, they don't know much about you. So they don't have much to base their decision on. That's why it's so important to build the success cases and the momentum so that they will be able to verify independently why you're good. And then it's going to be much easier to sell later. So that all means that there's a very frustrating start. What do you see typically is, we are ready to sell, but then people are not taking, right? Where are the buyers? Why they are not buying from you, right? I cannot understand. And what I have, the solution I'm presenting is fantastic. So what's happening? What's taking them so long and why are they? The other thing you see is like, oh, we can serve large clients. And then you start to go through evidence in your head or maybe in your presentations and you may be telling them and say, hey, we have all this evidence of this great experience we had. We have served these large clients in the past, and yet here now you're only talking to smaller clients and only small ones seems to be interested or be opening the opportunity for you. And you're like, I don't understand this, but look at my track record. I already sold to much larger clients and now only the small guy wants to talk to me. So what's happening? And the other thing you may be thinking is like, oh, we're good to go. We're ready. We can do it now. We can, we have, and then you realize that you're not met with the same sense of urgency on the other side. So these are all things that you are looking. What is the other side looking at? What are they thinking? They look at you, you may have been very large in your country of origin, very experienced, or you have very strong technical skills and your company is providing something so niche, so special that you know how good you are. But maybe they don't, right? For them, when they look at you, you're still unknown, you're newly arrived to the market, or you may be emphasizing some things that are not familiar to them, either in the technical aspects of what you're talking about. They say, wow, I guess I get your point, but it's too deep or something they don't understand, or the examples you're giving them of your success are from a different context that may work against you. Let me give a very specific example. I've seen clients that were very successful in other countries when they had large clients in other countries, and they come here suddenly and they're talking to a very small about a small potential opportunity here. And what they do, the big mistake is they keep referring back to the large opportunities that they have delivered in the past. They say, oh, look, we serve. And this is what they are hoping. They are hoping that by showing that they were capable to deal with a much more complex situation of somebody much larger, they will easily deal with the small situation here. And instead of you proving this point, What you're actually doing is you're emphasizing to them that all your experience is something that's unfamiliar to them. They say, well, I guess, yeah, but yeah, I see you did this, but we're different, we're small, we're in this niche. So people are very afraid to deal with somebody that has never dealt with somebody exactly like them. You need to make people feel familiar with you, right? And here's what happens. Salespeople almost always are very driven, right? Let's make the sale. But we have to be careful so we don't broadcast anxiety, right? It's like, whenever you're ready, it's when it's good for you. It's not like, oh, but let me convince you why you need this now. Like, you start to get into this anxious convincing, right? And this is what's worse. If they are asking you for some things that you still don't have, you come across as unprepared. And this is a fatal combination. Anxiety and unpreparedness. It leads people to look at you as an amateur. They think, well, we're not dealing with professionals here. These people are amateurs. They're not ready yet. Forget about it. I'm not going to deal with them. However, there is a great opportunity in this situation here. Remember, what situation we're talking about? When sales seem to be so small and they're taking too long. There is a great opportunity hiding here, right? And let's look at it now. But remember, we have our platform, Your Business in Canada, where we guide you through the process. We help you do what we're talking about in this video, understand and decode the reality of what's happening to you and help you craft your approach so you have your success in Canada, right? And you're going to be doing that as part of a larger group of entrepreneurs like you that are also building the success in Canada. So click the link on the description and come on board. But let's look at what is the great opportunity that is here. If you only have a very small sales opportunity and it's taking too long, there are hidden opportunities here. What they are. If it's small, let's talk about size first, and then I'll talk about the timing. If they're asking you to buy something small, even a small purchase is in the works. If even a small purchase is in the works, it means that they're really interested in you. They say, well, okay, I want to try. They're going for the sampling approach here. And probably what that means is that the actual opportunity for you is much larger. They're not going to waste their time and invest, and because if it's taking long, it means also the client is investing some time to meet with you again and send you feedback and all that. So the fact that it's taking long is actually a good sign. It's not a bad sign. A quick no, it's clear they don't want to deal with you. But if it's kind of there's some back and forth, I understand it's frustrating to you, but it means that probably there's a much larger opportunity in the background that they're not telling you about. They want to test you first with this initial small purchase. So see, there's an opportunity here. The opportunity is probably larger. Talking about the timing, why it's taking too long? Well, it means that they already have that once there is a green light, once you go through this process that's taking long, the doors are open. So what Canadians like to do a lot is that they put all the objections up front. It's unlike some other cultures where everybody shakes hands, say, yeah, let's do it. And then 18 months later, there's still no money flowing because then people start to work all the bugs. Canadians like to work all the bugs beforehand. So if it's taking long, it signifies they are committed in this purchase. So that's a good sign. Don't get discouraged if it's taking long. If it's taking long, it's okay, right? Provided that things keep progressing, right? So it means once there is a green light, it opens the door. It also means very likely that they are over-dimensioning you. What do I mean by that? It means, because you may not understand, say, oh, geez, they want to buy this little thing and they're asking for all this thing under the sun. My God, are they ever bureaucratic? Well, remember I said, likely there's a larger opportunity underneath that they're not even telling you. By making you go through all this painful onboarding process as a supplier, what probably they're also doing is that they're making you ready to make the bigger sales when it's the time. So they're over-dimensioning this purchase, right? They're preparing to buy more from you, but they're not telling you at the moment. You see? So there's opportunity in a small sale that's taking too long. So what helps? What kind of things can you do in this process then? So here's a few suggestions, right? First, forget the size. Because if we just keep looking at perhaps a small dollar sign, we may feel discouraged, especially if you are here as the one person of a larger company in another country. You're the first person trying to enter the Canadian market. It may be hard to explain to people back home, and they're like, oh my God, you're wasting all this time with this tiny thing, and come on, go after the big fish, right? Forget the size. Focus on generating a success case. That's really important. It's important to generate that evidence that you're already selling here. That has a very large value in the Canadian market. Be patient with the process and all of the requirements that are being asked of you. These will all be useful down the road, right? And use this opportunity to recalibrate a few things. There's learning in all this, right? Is your pitch right? Why did you go to the small opportunity? Maybe you offered like 10 things and they decide to buy only one. You say, well, there's interest in the market for this one, right? Maybe you target your materials a little more. Maybe you make them more streamlined and more focused on, after you learn all the things that you had to do, you already include that in the next time. When you talk to a client, say, oh, by the way, we already have all this, and that, right? So show that you're prepared before people start to ask you. And sometimes that means a recalibration of internal processes, both for you, the person who are in Canada, and especially if you're working for a company that has a base in another country, internal processes at both sides, here and back home, and the team, and who are the people, who is everybody that you're bringing to touch this client, to talk to this client. You have to learn about everything that's not going well, people that are not being responsive, that are not showing up on time, or that didn't give you the materials at the right time, or people that are causing a great impression, because you're going to be receiving this feedback from the client. When the engagement is long, you have more opportunity to gather more information. And then, of course, document all this learning, right? Always take notes of everything that's going on so you kind of can structure your next approach. And then use the success that you're building for further business development. Okay, I only made one small sale and it took me forever. Doesn't matter. Now you learned a lot of things and you have a client. So use that evidence. Oh yeah, we have this client. We have all this infrastructure to serve all sorts of clients here. The next conversations are going to be much easier. So there is value, right? Don't get discouraged if the sales opportunities are too small and if they're taking too long. There are golden opportunities hidden here, right? Go for it. Here are 2 videos that may help you further in this journey. Thank you.